Eastern PA weather, meteorologist Bobby Martrich here with your outlook for January 6, 2016. And high pressure that was to our northwest is now going to be shifting down to the southeast today. Very calm winds as a result of that. So it will be moderating a little bit today. We're going to have temperatures that are going to be back near normal for this time of year, but the winds will not be a factor whatsoever. Very light southwesterly wind that's going to be developing today as this high pressure sinks off to our southeast. And that's going to allow these winds to start coming in from this direction right here. Not overly powering, but it will be enough to get the temperatures to go up. That trend's going to continue here on Thursday. We're going to stay mostly sunny, we think, here on Thursday as we move a little bit further here in time. High pressure is still in control of our weather here on Thursday, and then we're going to have an increase of clouds, we think, on Friday as this next system pushes through. I'm going to give you the overview first. We're going to go through the details of what's going on with this in a little bit more detail as we take a look at the wide view. But we're basically having a system that's going to be cutting to our west here, up through the Great Lakes here. Whenever that happens, you're on the warm side of things, and you end up with just rain. It doesn't matter that it was just so cold. Doesn't matter there's high pressure sitting up here. That's not really going to help. We're looking at just rain coming through here. We'll have to watch at the very onset for extreme northeastern PA. Might get a few icy concerns just because of that cold air damming coming in here to northeastern PA. You can see that right here. So it might have some icing concerns, probably north of the Lehigh Valley. We're just talking about extreme north, the northeastern section of Pennsylvania, northwest New Jersey, where we have to watch out for that. But again, this is just these light grays here. This is very light. This isn't the heavier stuff like we have down here. So we're not looking at anything substantial before the warming occurs. So we'll keep an eye on it just in case, but it does look like the rain moves through. It heads into Saturday morning here, and then when this system moves through, we have another one on its heels. This is to come through for Sunday. This looks like it's going to be a rainmaker as well. 100% of our area will be in just rain, as this system is now going to track over the spine of the Appalachians up just like this. Bring some locally heavy rainfall here. That's going to be possible here late Saturday night, early Sunday morning, and I think this rain then continues into the afternoon hours here on Sunday. So again, a pretty good rainmaker looks like is coming, but no wintry precipitation. I know we were talking about in the last couple of videos here that there was a possibility that we could get into that, get in some wintry precipitation if this thing tracked close to the coast. The ensembles the other day were looking at that occurring, but so I'll show you what's going on as we go to the wide picture here. First of all, the energy responsible for our first system here Friday night is coming on shore. Actually came on shore last night. So this is now properly sampled. The models had a chance to take a look at this. There's observation stations all along the southwestern United States here, whereas before they were not offshore. So there's a possibility that some things could change when this came on shore. That is not occurring. This thing is going to race up here to the north and east like this. Move east first, then move up in this direction. We were expecting at one point, the models were suggesting that this would be transferring, not only tracking a little bit further east than what is currently modeled, but also popping a secondary low out here. And if this one would take over as the primary and this one remained weaker, we could get into a wintry scenario once we got into Sunday with the energy that followed it. So, the first one here would have had to develop and take off pretty rapidly, and it now not only looks like it's not going to develop rapidly, it doesn't look like it's going to develop at all on the current model guidance. I'll move it a little bit further. So the models were struggling with this. We're showing some wintry potential a couple days ago. They were struggling with this. A good reason for that is we are in a split flow pattern. This energy, here's the energy move racing up to the northeast here, across, going up into the Great Lakes here. You see that L is right here up into right over Lake Michigan here, but there's no secondary down here, no secondary that formed. And if you're not even going to have one form, you're definitely not going to have any cold air coming. Plenty of cold air is waiting right up here. This is some very, very cold air waiting to come south, and it will, but it's not going to get in here in time before this system right here in the Gulf makes it up the coast here. So that's going to track right over the spine of the Appalachians, and that's going to leave us in the warm side of things here on Sunday, and that's why this did not happen. There's still plenty of opportunity here, but as we get further into January, this was kind of was our first hope on the model guidance, but this one did not work out. And you see the system just continues off to the northeast, but the cold is still all the way back here. Here's where your cold air is, behind this line, still waiting to come in. And by the time the system passes, then the cold air rushes in behind it. But the good thing about this is, if you're like cold and snow, this cold is not a transient shot. Like we had a shot of cold air, obviously, Monday and Tuesday, very cold mornings, very cold days. This time, this one's going to stick around for a while. We get into what we were looking at a couple days ago. This was, or actually, this is the current look at the ensemble members, very unanimously showing that the track is going to be somewhere up here in this direction, right over central PA, over the Appalachians. Look at the cluster here of all these L's. All these little L's represent an individual ensemble member, and it's an overwhelming support for an inland track. So this is definitely going to be a warm system and rain. And if you just, to looking at a couple days ago, this is just 3 days ago. 3 days ago. And the same ensemble group was showing a big cluster offshore here because they had a different setup, showing that first system popping a coastal, which never, of course, is not going to happen now. So with a more favorable track offshore, you had a chance for some very significant snow here northwest of 995, and that is now not going to happen. So we were looking at this the other day. This looked like an overwhelming response of a coastal system, and of course everything trended away from that, so we didn't get that. This is the current snapshot of what we're expecting is going to happen here on Sunday. There is hope, though. Here's look at the polar vortex. Again, this is look at Sunday here. This area low pressure cutting through, this is right when it's cutting over Pennsylvania. Look at this cold air. This is a part of the polar vortex waiting to come in behind it, and there's some very seriously cold air coming in here for next week. So from Monday and beyond, it's going to be very cold. Here's a look at Sunday, where it's, and I'll move this forward to the next couple frames here. Monday it's starting to come in here, and then it just sits and spins, and we got a deep trough over the eastern United States, and it just stays there. It doesn't move, and it just gets entrained. Now we're going to have to watch for, with an active southern jet next week. One thing about the El Nino is you have a very active southern jet here. So even though you have the cold here in the northeast, now you have the cold entrenched. This is not waiting for it to show up. It's actually going to be here, and it's going to be in place and will not erode quickly. So any of these systems that come up this time will not be able to cut to our west or cut over Pennsylvania. They'll have one place to go, actually two. They can either slide out to sea like this if it's too overwhelming, which we don't think it's going to be too overwhelming, or end up right along the coast here. So we're going to have a couple shots here of snow. It looks like two of them that we're going to have before the 20th of January. So all hope is not lost for having snow in the relatively near term within the next 2 weeks here. We're not going to have it work out this Sunday, but we do have opportunities for that beyond that. I'm Eastern PA Weather Authority meteorologist Bobby Martrich. That is your outlook for January 6, 2016. Have a great Wednesday.